What if the only thing keeping you stuck is you? Not your job, not your past, not the world, but the old identity silently watching from the shadows. Every recycled thought, every repeated emotion, every unresolved memory is more than the mind. Past it's a frequency, a signal that keeps collapsing reality into the same loop over and over again. In this video, you'll uncover how the observer effect explains your hidden prison and the exact steps to break free from your old self, so you can step into the version of you that already exists in a higher reality. You carry it without even noticing. The old self. It lives in your thoughts, your emotions, and the stories you replay when no one is watching. It's not just the past. It's a frequency, a broadcast you send out day after day, collapsing reality into the same version you already know. Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself repeating the same inner dialogue? I'm not enough. This always happens to me. Maybe things will never change. Those thoughts aren't just private whispers. They are energetic imprints. And every time they are rehearsed, they vibrate through your body, conditioning your emotions, shaping your choices, and silently commanding the universe to give you more of the same. The old self is made of recycled emotions. That familiar frustration when things don't go your way. The subtle sadness when you look at where you are compared to where you thought you'd be. The unspoken fear of failure, rejection, or loss. These emotions don't just pass through you, they anchor you. They act like invisible weights, holding your nervous system in a repetitive cycle. And then there are the memories. The unresolved. Moments of your past, still echoing in your nervous system. That time someone betrayed you. That moment you failed in public. That night when no one showed up for you the way you needed. Those memories didn't just happen. They became coded. Instructions telling your mind and body, this is who I am. This is how life works. This is what I can expect. But here's the truth most people never realize. The past is not behind you. It is alive within you. Every unresolved memory becomes a frequency, a pattern of energy. And until you notice it, it keeps broadcasting like a radio station you forgot to turn off. The result? You keep living the same story, even when you want something new. Imagine you're standing in front of a doorway. On the other side is the future you've been asking for, the new relationship, the abundance, the freedom, the peace. But strapped to your back is a heavy backpack filled with bricks. Each brick is a repeated thought, a recycled emotion, an unresolved memory. You push toward the doorway, but the weight drags you down. You don't lack the future. You lack the space to receive it, because your arms are still holding on to the past. This is why change feels so hard. Not because it's impossible, but because you're trying to build a new life while carrying the old self into it. It's like trying to paint a new picture on a canvas that's already cluttered with old brushstrokes. No matter how much new color you add, the old shapes keep bleeding through. And here's the paradox. The old self feels safe. Even though it hurts, it's familiar. Your nervous system recognizes it. It's predictable. The body knows exactly what to feel when you replay those old patterns. And so, unconsciously, you keep choosing the familiar over the unknown, loyal to the past, even when it weighs you down. But what if the old self isn't really you? What if it's just a recording, a loop of thoughts and feelings that you've mistaken for your identity? If that's true, then freedom doesn't come from fighting your past. It comes from noticing that you are not the loop. You are the awareness. Watching it, and the moment you see this clearly, something shifts. The weight begins to loosen. Because once you recognize the old self as a frequency and not as your truth, you stop feeding it energy. And that is the very first crack in the prison wall. So let me ask you, how much of your life right now feels like a loop? How many of your days feel like a repeat of the ones before? The weight of the old self may be invisible, but once you name it, you can finally put it down. And only then does the doorway to the new reality begin to open. Asterisk if you're ready to let go of even one piece of that old weight. Drop a single word in the comments. Release. You'll be surprised how powerful it feels to declare it. When you were young, you didn't consciously choose who you became. Your self was shaped by the moments that cut the deepest moments of pain, rejection, and failure. Each wound left a mark, and with every mark, the old self began to assemble. Think of it as a mask. At first, it was a shield, built to protect you. When someone judged you, the mask whispered, "Hide your true feelings." When you felt abandoned, it said, "Don't need anyone, stay safe." When you failed, the mask concluded, "Better not try again." Each piece of conditioning was laid over you like armor. But over time, something strange happened. The mask stopped feeling like protection and started feeling like your face. You began to believe that the defense mechanism was your true self. You forgot that beneath the armor, there was someone untouched by those wounds. This is the paradox of the old identity. It was built to help you survive. Yet in the process, it blocked you from living. What started as safety became a prison. What began as protection became limitation. And here's the hidden truth. The old self was never consciously chosen. You didn't sit down one day and decide, "This is who I want to be." It was inherited from family patterns, from cultural conditioning, from the echoes of people who projected their fears onto you. You didn't pick the script, you were handed it. But now as an adult, you have the power to question it. To ask, do I still need this mask? Do I still want to live by these rules? Because survival is not the same as freedom. And if your life feels heavy, stagnant, or unfulfilled, chances are it's not because you're broken. It's because you're still wearing the mask of survival, mistaking it for your true identity. So here's the challenge. What if you dared to take it off? What if you allowed yourself to see that the you you've been defending was never really you at all? Here's where things get even more mysterious. Modern physics reveals something ancient mystics always knew. Reality doesn't just exist out there. It responds to the one who is watching. In quantum experiments, particles behave differently, depending on whether they are observed. Light can act like a wave, spread across infinite possibilities. Or it can act like a particle, fixed in one location. The deciding factor? The observer. The simple act of watching collapses possibility into reality. Now imagine this not as science in a lab, but as your daily life. Every thought, every belief, every emotion you carry is like the lens through which you observe the world. And reality, like a faithful mirror, responds not to what you say you want, but to who you are being as the observer. This is why wanting something often isn't enough. You can repeat affirmations, write goals, or visualize outcomes. But if the frequency of your inner state doesn't match those desires, the field won't reflect them. It's like tuning a radio. No matter how much you want to hear music, you'll only hear static until you align to the right station. Thoughts and emotions together create this vibrational broadcast. A thought without emotion is weak, like a signal too faint to reach the tower. Emotion without thought is scattered raw energy without direction. But when thought and emotion merge, they generate a coherent frequency that imprints itself on the quantum field. That coherence is what reality responds to. Here's the paradox. Most people unknowingly broadcast the past. They think about what went wrong. They feel the same emotions of lack, fear, or frustration. And together, those thoughts and feelings keep sending the same signal, collapsing reality into the same loops. They're asking for a new future while radiating the frequency of the old self. But what if you shifted? What if you began to observe? from a different state of being? If physics shows that observation changes outcomes, then choosing a new inner state changes the reality you collapse into existence. It's not about forcing life to bend to your will. It's about aligning your vibration so that reality has no choice but to mirror it back. This is the essence of the observer effect applied to your life. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are being not. So pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I broadcasting right now? Is it doubt? Fear? The heaviness of the old self? Or is it possibility? Gratitude? The resonance of the future you? Because the truth is simple yet profound, the universe is listening. And it responds, always to the frequency of your observer. By the time you turn 35, research shows that 95% of who you are is unconscious programming. That means most of your thoughts, emotions, and actions are not fresh choices, they're rehearsals. Automatic loops running beneath the surface. Think of your body as the hardware and your subconscious as the software. Every time you repeat an emotion, anger, shame, doubt, your nervous system encodes it like a program. Over time, the body doesn't just remember the emotion. It craves it. The same way someone can be addicted to caffeine or sugar, you can be addicted to stress, fear, or sadness. This is why transformation feels so hard. It's not just about thinking differently. It's about breaking an emotional addiction, wired into your very cells. Your body has learned to expect certain chemicals, cortisol for stress, adrenaline for fear, and when you stop feeding it those emotions, it actually protests. It sends signals. Something's wrong. Go back to the old self. Bruce Lipton, a pioneer in epigenetics, put it simply, change your perception, and you change your biology. When you see life as dangerous, your body floods with stress hormones, shutting down growth and repair. But when you shift into trust, gratitude, or joy, your body produces a completely different chemistry one. That opens the door for healing and expansion. Joe Dispenza takes it further. He says, the body is the unconscious mind. Meaning, your daily emotional states become memorized, and soon the body is running the show, even when the conscious mind wants something different. That's why you can set a New Year's resolution, feel inspired for a few days, and then snap back into the old patterns. The body drags you back to the familiar chemical comfort zone. So the challenge isn't just reprogramming the mind, it's retraining the body, teaching it to live in the future before the future arrives, teaching it to feel gratitude before the blessing appears, teaching it to embody freedom before circumstances change. Because here's the quantum secret. Your body is like an antenna. Whatever emotion you live in most of the time is the signal you're broadcasting to the field. If your body is addicted to the old self, it keeps calling in the same reality. But when you train it to feel the emotions of your desired future now, you change the broadcast. And the field has to respond. So pause and reflect. What emotions is your body addicted to? Stress, worry, resentment? Or are you training it to be addicted to gratitude, peace, and vision? Because the truth is, your body can become addicted to the future just as easily as it was addicted to the past. If you're ready to reprogram your body for the future instead of the past, type recode. In the comments, it's your first signal to the field. What if the prison you feel trapped in has no walls, no bars, no guards? What if the real prison is simply your loyalty to the past? The old self is not just memory, it's a rehearsal. Fear rehearsed so many times it feels natural. Doubt repeated, until it becomes your default lens. Shame revisited so often it begins to feel like truth. These emotions are not random storms. They are patterns, grooves in the mind and body that run on autopilot, pulling you back into the same story. Your brain and nervous system work together like actors in a play. The brain feeds the thought, I can't do this. The body responds with the familiar emotion of defeat. Then the emotion sends a signal back to the brain. See? You feel small. That must mean it's true. And so the loop reinforces itself. Thought creates feeling. Feeling confirms thought. Round and round. Until you forget there was ever another way to live. This is the prison of the old self. It's not the people around you. It's not the economy. It's not even your circumstances. It's the invisible contract you've signed with your own patterns. The agreement to stay loyal to the frequency of the past, even when it hurts. Here's the devastating cost. When you keep replaying these rehearsed emotions, life stops moving forward. Each day becomes a repeat of the one before. You wake up with the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, make the same choices, and experience the same reality. The calendar changes, but the life inside, it does not. And the scariest part? Most people never realize they are in a prison at all. They assume this is just who they are. They confuse the cage for their identity. But the truth is, the door to this prison has always been unlocked. The moment you choose to stop rehearsing the past, the loop begins to break. And what waits outside the prison is not uncertainty, it's freedom. There is a moment, a subtle but life-changing moment, when you realize you are not the thought, you are not the emotion. You are the one watching. This is the role of the observer, the awareness within you that can step back, notice the old pattern, and simply say, "Ah, there it is again." That awareness is not trapped in the loop. It is the light that reveals the loop. Think about it. The same thought that once swallowed you whole suddenly feels lighter the moment you observe it. Why? Because the act of observation creates distance. It separates you from the identification. You stop being the fear itself and become the one who sees the fear. And the moment you see it, the fear loses some of its grip. This is more powerful than most people realize. In quantum physics, the observer collapses possibility into reality. In consciousness, the observer collapses identification into awareness. By noticing the old self, you stop unconsciously feeding it energy. Awareness itself begins to dissolve the pattern dot. It's like standing in a dark room your whole life, thinking the shadows are monsters. Then, one day, you turn on a light. The monsters were never real. They were only shapes projected on the wall. The light of awareness doesn't fight the shadow. It reveals it. And once revealed, it has no more power. But here's the paradox. Most people never activate this observer. They live entirely identified with the mind and body. When anger rises, they are the anger. When shame whispers, they are the shame. They never pause to realize, if I can see it, then I am not it. This awareness is the crack in the prison wall we spoke about before. You don't escape by force, you escape by seeing. By becoming the consciousness that observes rather than the self that reacts. So here is a practice. The next time you feel an old emotion rising, fear, doubt, shame, don't fight it. Don't drown in it either. Just pause and silently name it. I see you. You are not me. That simple acknowledgement shifts your identity from the prisoner to the observer. Because the truth is, you were never the pattern. You were always the awareness behind it. And once you live as the observer, the old self no longer defines you. It becomes just another wave passing through the ocean of who you really are. So ask yourself right now, who is observing you in this very moment? That question alone is enough to begin the shift. The universe is not listening to your words. It is listening to your vibration. You can say, I'm abundant 1,000 times. But if underneath those words your body is radiating fear, scarcity, and doubt, the field responds to the signal, not the language. This is the law of vibrational coherence. Reality mirrors back the frequency you live in most of the time. Think of the quantum field as an infinite ocean of possibilities. Every version of your life already exists in potential the successful. You, the healed you, the free you. Neville Goddard called this principle not attraction, but selection. You don't pull a future toward you. You tune into the frequency where that future is already alive. It's like switching radio stations. The music is already being broadcast. You just need to align your dial. But here's the catch. The dial is not your words. It's your state of being. Your thoughts and emotions together create the coherence that tunes you into a specific reality. This is why alignment matters more than effort. You can push, struggle, hustle, and fight, but if your inner frequency is still tied to the old self, you'll keep tuning into the same old outcomes. Reality isn't punishing you. It's simply reflecting coherence. Here's the empowering truth. The moment you shift your vibration, the field begins to rearrange itself around you. You start noticing synchronicities. Opportunities appear. People show up. Not because they suddenly came out of nowhere, but because you finally tuned into the channel where they always existed. The future self you long for is not in the distance. It's in another frequency. Every time you choose gratitude over worry, trust over doubt, love over fear, you align with that version of yourself. And the bridge between your current life and your future life is built out of these choices. So pause and ask yourself, what frequency am I in right now? Am I living in the vibration of the old self, rehearsing fear and lack? Or am I stepping into coherence with the self I desire to become? Because once you understand this law, manifestation is no longer a mystery. It's not about waiting for life to change. It's about becoming vibrationally coherent with the life that is already waiting for you. If you're ready to align with the frequency of your future self, type coherence in the comments. You'll feel the shift the moment you declare it. Change doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intention. And intention becomes powerful when it is embodied, not just thought about, but practiced. Here is a simple ritual to help you release the old self and step into the new. Step 1. Name the old self. Close your eyes and give the old version of you a name. Maybe it's the worrier. Maybe it's the doubter. Maybe it's just the past me. By naming it, you separate from it. You make it something you can observe, not something you are. Step 2. Recognize and thank it. Say to it, thank you for trying to protect me. You helped me survive. But I no longer need you to guide my life. Gratitude softens resistance. Even the old self deserves acknowledgement. Before release. Step 3. Release ritual. Visualize the old self dissolving like smoke. Or imagine placing it into a box and setting it down behind you. Take a deep breath as you exhale it out of your body. Feel the space it leaves within you. Step 4. Embody the new self. Breathe as if you are already the version of yourself you want to become. Move as they would move. Stand taller. Feel lighter. Smile with the confidence of your future self living through you now. Step 5. Declaration. Speak these words with presence. I no longer collapse the past. I tune into who I truly am. Let your voice carry the vibration of truth, as if the quantum field itself is listening, because it is. This ritual doesn't need candles, crystals, or complicated steps. All it needs is your willingness to release and your courage to embody something greater. Remember, every time you do this, you are not pretending. You are tuning. You are aligning with the frequency of the future self who already exists and calling that version of you into the present moment. The shift is powerful. But here's the truth. The old self won't disappear overnight. It will try to return, whispering the same thoughts, pulling you back into the same emotions, tempting you to believe that nothing has really changed. This is not failure. This is simply the body and mind trying to return to their comfort zone. Remember, They were programmed for years, sometimes decades, to live in the old vibration. It makes sense that they want to pull you back. But this is where the real work begins: stabilization. Each time you choose awareness over reaction, you strengthen the new identity. Each time you pause before falling into the old thought, you build a new neural pathway. Each time you embody gratitude, trust, or vision instead of fear, you anchor the vibration of your future self more deeply. Think of it like training a muscle. At first, it feels awkward. The old habits feel heavier. But with repetition, the new identity grows stronger, and the old one begins to fade. Consistency transforms effort into embodiment. And here's how you know you're stabilizing. Synchronicities begin to appear. You think of someone, and they call. You imagine an opportunity, and it shows up in unexpected form. You feel clarity where confusion used to live. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the field is responding to your new broadcast. The key is not perfection, but persistence. The old self may visit, but it no longer needs to stay. And every conscious choice you make, every time you return to awareness, every time you remember the observer, every time you embody the vibration of your future, becomes another brick in the foundation of your new identity. Stability is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of alignment, even in the face of challenge. And once your new identity is stabilized, reality has no choice but to rearrange around it. The future is not something you create. It is something you remember. It already exists in another frequency, waiting for you to align with it. Every thought you've shifted, every emotion you've released, every time you've chosen awareness. Over the old loop, you've been tuning into that future. You're not building it from scratch. You're uncovering what has always been alive within the field of infinite possibility. The old self was never your enemy. It was simply the echo of survival, a pattern designed to protect you. But protection is not the same as freedom. And today, you've remembered that you are not the mask, not the loop, not the prison. You are the observer, the awareness, the consciousness behind it all. Change doesn't happen because life suddenly opens a door for you. Change happens because you stop collapsing the past and begin radiating the frequency of the future self who already knows the way. So pause, breathe, and feel this truth. The version of you that is free, abundant, and whole is not far away. It is right here, vibrating in another layer of reality. And the moment you choose coherence with it, the moment you say yes with your thoughts, emotions, and actions, that reality begins to unfold in front of you. Let this be your declaration. The old me has been released. I am no longer loyal to the past. I align with who I truly am. Say it with conviction. Whisper it. Write it. Comment it. Let it echo through your nervous system and out into the quantum field. Because every declaration is not just a sentence, it is a signal that tells reality, I am ready. And when you declare it with presence, the field responds. The synchronicities arrive. The doors open. The right people show up. Because reality is always listening. The question now is simple. Will you keep broadcasting the old frequency? Or will you step fully into the new? The choice is yours. The future is already waiting. If you're ready to step into your new self, comment, the old me has been released. Let this be your signature to the universe.